You replay the conversation for the fifth time. You imagine every possible way something could go wrong. You lie awake at 2 a.m., trying to solve problems that do not even exist yet. You think you are being careful. You think you are being smart. But what if I told you that every time you overthink, you are physically damaging your brain and making every future problem harder to solve? Stay with me, because what neuroscience has discovered about overthinking will change the way you think about thinking. Welcome to Ava Health Nexus, your trusted source for science-backed health education. We publish a new video every single day, so make sure you subscribe so you never miss one. Today's topic affects almost every person watching this video. Research consistently shows that a significant majority of adults identify themselves as chronic overthinkers. That is not a personality quirk. That is a health issue, and the brain science behind it is more alarming than most people realize. Today we are going to cover exactly what happens inside your brain when you overthink, why it becomes a destructive cycle that feeds on itself, what it does to your physical health, and the science-backed strategies that actually break the pattern. This is not a motivational talk. This is neuroscience, and it applies to you. What overthinking actually does to your brain. When you overthink, your brain does not enter a state of productive analysis. It enters a loop. Neuroscientists call this rumination, the process of repeatedly cycling through the same thoughts without ever reaching a resolution. Here is what happens neurologically. The default mode network, a set of brain regions that activates when you are not focused on the outside world, goes into overdrive. This network is responsible for self-referential thinking, thoughts about yourself, your past, your future, your mistakes, your fears. In an overthinker, this network rarely switches off. It runs in the background constantly, like an app you forgot to close, draining your mental energy around the clock. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, your rational decision-making center, becomes fatigued. The more you overthink, the less clearly you think. It is the neurological equivalent of trying to run a marathon while already exhausted. Overthinking does not produce better decisions. Research consistently shows it produces worse ones. How overthinking damages you physically. This is where overthinking moves from a mental problem to a physical one. And this is the part most people never connect. When you overthink, your brain treats imagined threats as real ones. You replay a difficult conversation. Your brain reacts as if it is happening right now. You imagine a future worst-case scenario. Your nervous system responds as if it is already occurring. Each time this happens, your body releases cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Chronically elevated cortisol has serious, documented consequences. It shrinks the hippocampus, the brain region responsible for memory and learning. It weakens the immune system, making you more vulnerable to illness. It disrupts sleep architecture, reducing the overall quality of your rest. It raises blood pressure and increases cardiovascular risk. It suppresses serotonin and dopamine production, directly fueling anxiety and depression. Overthinking is not just mentally exhausting, it is measurably physically harmful, and the damage accumulates over time. Why it gets worse on its own. Here is the cruelest part of overthinking. It is self-reinforcing. The more you do it, the more your brain is wired to keep doing it. Every time you ruminate, the neural pathways associated with that pattern of thinking grow stronger. This is basic neuroplasticity. The brain strengthens whatever it repeatedly does. Overthinking, over time, literally rewires your brain to default to overthinking. There's also an emotional component. Overthinkers often believe that worrying is productive, that if they think hard enough about a problem, they will eventually solve it or prevent it. This belief keeps the loop running, but research consistently shows that the vast majority of things people worry about never actually happen. And when difficult outcomes do occur, most people find they are able to handle them or that the experience taught them something valuable. The loop runs on a false premise, and yet the brain keeps running it. What overthinking does to your sleep and relationships. Two areas of life that overthinking devastates, beyond the brain itself, are sleep and relationships. Sleep. The default mode network is most active when external stimulation is low, exactly the conditions of lying in bed at night. For overthinkers, bedtime becomes the brain's most active period. Intrusive thoughts surge. The mind races through unresolved problems, imagined scenarios, and past regrets. This delays sleep onset, reduces deep sleep stages, and causes frequent waking. Poor sleep then elevates cortisol further, which makes the overthinking worse the next day. It is a vicious cycle with no natural stopping point. Relationships. Overthinkers frequently overanalyze interactions with others. A delayed text reply becomes evidence of rejection. A neutral facial expression becomes a sign of anger. A colleague's quiet day becomes confirmation of a personal problem. This creates friction in relationships that is entirely internal, invisible to the other person, but very real to the overthinker. Over time, it erodes trust, creates unnecessary conflict, and drives emotional exhaustion. Science-backed ways to stop overthinking. The good news is that neuroplasticity works in both directions. The same brain that learned to overthink can learn to stop. Here are 5 methods supported by neuroscience and clinical research. Method 1. Scheduled worry time. Instead of trying to suppress anxious thoughts, which often amplifies them, schedule a specific 15-minute window each day for worrying. When a ruminative thought appears outside that window, write it down and consciously defer it. Research published in the journal Behavior Research and Therapy shows this technique significantly reduces intrusive thoughts by giving the brain a designated outlet. Method 2. Cognitive diffusion. This technique, drawn from acceptance and commitment therapy, involves creating distance from your thoughts rather than engaging with them directly. Instead of thinking, I am going to fail, you practice thinking, I am having the thought that I am going to fail. This simple reframing reduces the emotional intensity of the thought and weakens the brain's tendency to treat it as reality. Method 3. The 2-minute rule for decisions. Overthinkers frequently get stuck in analysis paralysis, endlessly evaluating options without ever choosing. For low-stakes decisions, commit to deciding within 2 minutes. For high-stakes decisions, set a firm deadline. Neuroscience shows that decisions made under mild time pressure are often just as good and frequently better than those made after extended analysis. Method 4. Physical pattern interruption. When you notice yourself entering a rumination loop, use a physical action to interrupt it. Stand up. Splash cold water on your face. Take a brisk 5-minute walk. Physical movement activates the cerebellum and shifts blood flow away from the default mode network, effectively disrupting the overthinking circuit in real time. Method 5. 5-minute journaling. Writing your thoughts externalizes them, moving them from the active processing areas of the brain onto paper, where they can be observed rather than experienced. Studies show that expressive writing reduces cortisol levels, improves emotional regulation, and significantly decreases rumination frequency over time. Key takeaways. Overthinking breaks mental health cycle. Insights. Overthinking activates the default mode network and fatigues the prefrontal cortex. Chronic rumination floods the body with cortisol, damaging memory, immunity, sleep, and heart health. The more you overthink, the more your brain is wired to keep doing it. 85% of things people worry about never happen. The loop runs on a false premise. Scheduled worry time, cognitive diffusion, and journaling are proven to break the cycle. Physical movement interrupts the overthinking circuit in real time. A new video is published on this channel every single day. Subscribe so you never miss one. If you recognized yourself in this video, you are not alone and you are not broken. Your brain learned a pattern, and it can learn a new one. Start with just one of the 5 methods today. Even 5 minutes of journaling tonight will begin to shift your brain's default. If this video helped you, please hit the like button. It helps this information reach more people who genuinely need it. Subscribe to Ava Health Nexus for a brand new, science-backed health video every single day. We upload daily, so there's always something new waiting for you. And share this video with someone you know who lies awake overthinking at night. It might be exactly what they need to hear. Take care of your mind. We will see you tomorrow.